Does your dog have knots in his or her ears? If you have a dog with long floppy ears like this Cavalier here, this is Apple. Hi baby. Especially if the color of the ears is black, they're very prone to developing knots. Black hair is thicker and grows faster than the lighter colored hairs, and that's why I say especially if the ears are black. But any long-eared dog is going to develop knots in the ears. That's really the first place and the most prominent place where they develop. You just make sure that you determine where the leather of the ear is, and then feel on top and below and to the side of the leather. See, I'm just running my hands on top of the leather right now, and I'm coming up with a knot right here. Only a few simple tools you need to take care of it. A metal comb, a slicker brush, and thinning shears, all readily available. The first thing I do is to kind of probe with the wide part. You notice that on a metal comb, or any comb pretty much, you're going to have widely spaced and more finely spaced teeth. So I start with the wide spaced part and kind of probe. This is getting stuck if I use the regular outward motion, so then I take it and just kind of pick at it, and you'll notice that the knots that are not deeply entrenched come right out. When I get to the one that I felt before, which is really very thick, you can see she doesn't like that. When I get to the point where I can really feel a firm mat right there, what I do is to take my slicker brush. Slicker brush has little wires on it. It's easiest to brush this way, and that's great for finishing a grooming, but if we're just trying to remove a knot, we isolate the knot and we actually back brush it. We back brush from the outside toward the dog. And what that does is it takes any of the fur on the ear that is relatively loose and not actually part of the knot, and puts that to the side. And so what's left between my fingers right now is the knot itself, which is not going to come out without an awful lot of work. So as long as we're not just chopping it off, I mean, if we just chopped off that knot, it would really make her ears look terrible. So I'm not using scissors, I'm using thinning shears, and I come kind of at an angle and I make a few cuts, being very careful not to cut the leather of her ears. Now, thinning shears, in case you're not familiar with them, have one side that's solid like regular scissors and one side that actually has teeth. So when you make a cut with the thinning shears, you're not cutting all the way through, you're just making some little spaced cuts. So that takes some of the hair and cuts it, but leaves a lot of the hair in there still. Then I take the wide part of the comb and I comb it out. I have one more little clump here that I didn't get, so I'm going to give that another little cutting with the thinning shears. Comb it out. And you'll see on the comb, there's the hair that came loose. That was what was knotted, but we've left a lot of the ear intact. And I can just comb that out. And when I'm satisfied that I've gotten all the knots, I finish with the slicker brush. Slicker brush is very good at getting all the dead hair out and leaving the good hair. And you'll see quite a bit of that dead hair in there. So that's the basic idea behind getting rid of the knots in the ears. If you have a particularly large one, it'll take a little bit more time. That was not a really big one, but Apple, you're going to look beautiful.